Hey, what's going on in the world? What's happening, audience? Wherever you at, no matter who you are, welcome. Thank you for checking us out, viewing, listening, and so forth. My name is C.Truth. I usually host the Thermal Soundwave show, but today we're doing a special on the Conchel International Film Festival going down in New York City, out in Forest Hills, and we're going to be talking to some filmmakers, some special artists, some directors and producers and so forth that are going to be involved with that. And today, joining me is a brother who is a comedian, writer, filmmaker, artist, entertainer, so many other things. He goes by the name of Tyquan Neblett, and he's going to be telling us about some of the things that he's doing. What's going on, brother?
I'm all right. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Actually,
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those who don't know, tell us about Taekwondo, a little bit about yourself.
a little bit about myself.
Yes.
Well, what I will say is that this whole film thing kind of started when I was like 14. I started creating YouTube videos, mostly comedy, but I'm also from Barbados, and that within itself brings a lot with it. So the way that we talk, the way that we speak, the expressions that we have. So I started making videos on that, basically explaining to the world, like different Bajan terms and slang and all that stuff, and just general comedy. When I was younger, I always wanted to do some type of acting, some type of, I would say something creative, But I think I was mostly focused on sports at the time, trying to get a sports scholarship and all that. But when I got to UE, I was doing biology, and then I decided, you know what? It's about time I take this film thing seriously. Like I've been
Right.
writing stories
Right.
probably
And
since I
hold on
was
one
in
second. Hold on one second. I don't mean to cut your flow, but for those who
uh,
don't know what UE means, he's talking about university
yes, the
and going to
University of the
college.
West
Because
Indies.
there may be people watching and listening like UE. What is he talking about?
What
What
is
does that
UE?
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
University of the West Indies, specifically K-Phil. When
Yeah.
I got there, I decided to switch to film because, like I said, I was writing stories and all these things for a lot of years, but I never really decided to take it seriously. I was like, just YouTube and that's it. I was like, you know what? It's like when your ideas extend past YouTube, if you get what I'm trying to say. And when it comes to Caribbean art and movies, it's something that's really untapped. No one has really made anything really on it that is like directly in the mainstream, Not saying we don't have amazing movies here, but when it comes to our streaming services, we don't really have anything that represents Caribbean culture, I would say, fully and authentically on these streaming platforms. And I want to be the first person to do it. It's a task, but I think I can get it done for sure.
Absolutely, definitely, definitely. I mean, you have been doing it. I mean, once you put it out there, you're doing it. You're putting
Exactly.
your best foot forward and your best efforts forward. So congratulations for you for doing that. And is this the first year that you've been involved with the Conchel International Film Festival?
Yes, this is my first year with Conch Shell, but I've been in the Barbados Film Festival and a few other film festivals around the Caribbean. But I'm very happy to have my first international film festival debut, and for something that I
Absolutely.
did in my final year of college, I truly believe like I can't wait for y'all to see what I actually have in my head, what I actually want to do after this. But still excited and still thankful and content to be here, of course.
Gotcha, gotcha. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Conchel International Film Festival, it celebrates the voices, the creative voices of the indie and student film directors and writers of the Caribbean diaspora and those in the Caribbean who inspire social change and other inspirations as well, beyond social change. So, your particular piece, Spotlight, tell us about that and what it's about.
So we have everybody knows about the boogeyman, right? I think every single culture has a boogeyman. It just goes by different names. We have that story that we tell our kids, you better come inside before it gets too dark, or this person can get you, or that is gonna get you. We all have that story. So in Barbados, our story is the heart man. So is this man that if you don't get inside at a certain time, he's gonna take you up, and he drives around in a hearse. And we know that hearses don't drive around like after dark. So it's a little story that we have here. So my story we decided to put a spin on it. The one thing that I wanted to address specifically in that piece is just how law enforcement sometimes kind of deals with when it deals with crimes against young children and stuff like that. So we decided, because personally I love horror movies and I love villains, I love murder mysteries, that's my thing. We decided
Mhm.
to take that story and turn it into a murder mystery, you know? So we have these two detectives who are trying to figure out who the Heartman is. And the Heartman is basically, you know, a serial killer who they're hunting down for the past 7 years. So I would say, yeah, that is the story of it. And I'm not going to tell you the twist. I'm not going to spoil it. You should come to the festival. But I don't think it's a twist that anybody is going to expect. That's what I will say. The reactions that I get when I screen the film, people are like, "Yo, I didn't expect that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great." So, yeah, that's basically the project. It was shot in my last year for my capstone at university, and the plan is to reshoot it and then release it into theaters later on because we think it's a really good story and we think it has a bit more legs. You know, we can turn it into a feature or something like that.
Absolutely. And make sure you come out to the Conchel International Film Festival happening this year in Queens, Forest Hills, New York. You can see people like Tyquan and many other producers, directors, filmmakers, writers, and the whole 9 yards that are involved in this world that we call art, film, and so forth. And you can talk to them one-on-one or what have you, or go to panels and such. It's a great, great event to take place and to be involved in, especially if you're somebody who wants to get into this business and into this industry. It's a great, great launching point for you. So concheliff.com is where you go for more information. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. So make sure you check that out. I am C.Truth, host of Thermal Soundwaves, and we are talking to filmmaker, comedian, performer, artist, Tyquan Neblett here with us today on the program as we are covering the CSIFF Conchel International Film Festival. Now, who are some of the people that inspired you coming up from Barbados? Like, were there some people actually in Barbados that were in entertainment doing things like film that kind of inspired you, or did you look elsewhere outside of Barbados for inspiration?
I think there were a bunch of YouTubers back in the day when I was younger, who were Beijing, but unfortunately, I can't remember anybody right now. Um, when it comes to film in Barbados, I can't really like name anybody off my head right now. But if I'm looking elsewhere, I would definitely say people like Ariesta. Well, actually, my lecturer, Russell Watson, shout out to Russell Watson. Probably the reason why I actually decided to take film seriously. He made a film back in the early 2000s, and I watched it. I watched it years ago, but then I rewatched it and realized, oh yeah, this is actually my lecturer that did this film. And I think that was probably one of the first things that kind of Handful of Dirt is the name of it. One of the first times I remember actually being interested in like, oh, like I am a Bajan person, and that means that I can also make film. If you get what I'm trying to say, like I can make an authentic film, and it doesn't have to pander or be something different than it being Bajan. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to my outward influences, definitely Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. Atlanta to me is amazing. One of my favorite series. Anything I would say like Ariesta in the horror thrillers. I would say genre really inspires me because, like I said, I like villains, especially when like you watch something and you're like, damn, he's doing some crazy stuff, but I actually understand why he's doing it. Like I like that. I like well written villains. You know, you see yourself in the villain, and you're like, okay, I get what he's doing. I get why he's doing it. I don't respect it, but I get it.
Right. Now, you were studying biology and you were in the university, right?
Yes, I was.
Now, is there something from that experience with biology or studying that particular course that you took, or things from there that you can take into the world of entertainment and into your filmmaking?
Yeah, I think that when you're a director like me, you have to do a research. If you get what I'm trying to say. When you're building characters and writing, especially too, I write and direct most of my stuff, all at this point. When you are doing your research, it has to be based in reality. You know, even if it is fantasy, there still needs to be something that can relate it to reality, if you get what I'm trying to say. What I will say when it comes to biology, because I did biology and then I did psychology for a little bit. Biology, that experience taught me that I need to follow and do what I want to do. As in, I want to do film, I need to do it and commit to it. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I was doing biology because that's all I thought I could do at the time, you know, because I studied biology and environmental science at community college. And I was like, okay, this is all I'm going to do. But when I switched from biology to psychology, we did a few courses like abnormal psychology and stuff like that, that really made me realize, you know, every time we have a character who is anytime a character does something, it is based like in their childhood or their past, you know. It helps you write characters better. Like every
Gotcha.
trauma that we see on TV, all that stuff, like it's always based in something that's happened, you know. And I took that with me. Like I always try now to link my characters to something happening in their childhood, you know. Because people don't just do things because they just want to, you know, because they feel like it. It's always based in something, you know. Reason that you're interviewing me now and you're on the radio and stuff is because, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
exactly,
Yes, yes.
something
No
inspired
question.
you.
No question. No question. Definitely. Um, as far as the biology of it all and that particular science and you putting together your work and your films, um, comedy wise. Well, let's move from biology for a second. Comedy wise,
Mhm.
I want to ask you this because you put up some pieces on YouTube that I saw, and I want to know from you personally because a lot of people have these experiences that worked in customer service and sales and
Mhm.
retail and so forth. What by far was your worst experience in doing customer service or some type of retail? Your worst experience?
My worst
Yeah,
experience.
your worst experience. Yeah,
I have a lot. The
yeah,
thing, and the thing about it is sometimes like when you're working for somebody, I would say that sometimes it's not even the customer. Sometimes it's just your management that is the worst. I was working at this place. I'm not gonna call the place, but I told my manager like I was sick and I need to go to the doctor. You know, called in, everything, all that stuff. So I told her I was gonna come in like 2 hours late, right? And at this point, I had just gotten out of the doctor's office and I'm on my way to work. Still sick, but I'm on my way to work, you know, because we gotta make that money regardless.
right,
And I remember I was literally driving to the place and she calls me and I just say hello and she just starts shouting, like shouting at me throughout this whole car, right? And we're on the highway, right? The place is at the end of the highway. She shouts at me from the beginning of the highway to the end of
right,
the highway. Yeah. And she hears, and then I start walking into the building and she's like telling me that I'm trying to deceive her and that I'm not trustworthy anymore, that she regrets that she hired me, like all that stuff. And I'm just like, I told you that I was sick. So now I'm walking into the building now, and there are people around me talking, of course, because I'm working in customer service. And she is just saying, oh, and it sounds like if you're like with your friends and they're laughing at me, like y'all think this is funny. And when she says that, I open her door and we just have make eye contact for like 2 minutes, like just looking at each
right,
other. And then she just starts shouting again. And I was like, I don't even know, I don't even know how to respond to this at this point. Like, I think that
right,
if you don't understand that you're wrong at this point, like, I don't know what to say. Honestly, probably one of my
right.
worst experiences, to be honest.
Gotcha. And real quick because we got to wrap up, but um, tell people where they can see more of your work, like the stuff that I was talking about, like on YouTube and so
Mm.
forth.
And
People
what I
on your
will
social
say is
medias.
social medias, Tyquan Neblett on every single social media. It's gonna be my name, Tyquan Neblett. It might have a dot between it, it might have an underscore between it, but it's just Tyquan Neblett on Instagram, Tyquan Neblett on YouTube. Kind of straying away from the comedy stuff, not really doing that as much because like I said, my genre now when I'm directing is gonna be horror and thriller, and we're gonna be telling those little creepy stories to make you feel a little uncomfortable. And but you're still gonna enjoy it. It's still gonna be a really good story. My YouTube channel is gonna become the place where I post some of my shorts and some trailers for like my upcoming projects and stuff like that. And like I said, it's Tyquan Neblett, so you should definitely check it out. And also check out the stuff that I did before, you know. And like I said, I cannot wait for you to see what else I have in store. Honestly.
Definitely. And really quick, you said that you write and you direct a lot of this stuff yourself. Most people have teams. So how do you pull it all together and balance it all out, doing it yourself?
What I will say is the writing and the directing part is, I think that's probably the easiest thing for me, because usually when I write something myself, I know how I want these characters to perform and I know the reactions and different things that I want. When it comes to cinematography, I have my friend and cinematographer, the Art Labs, Shea Corliss. He's amazing. And the best thing about it is when you're a director, you're able to delegate and choose the best people for different tasks. And when it comes to that, I have him. And when it comes to casting, usually I do casting myself, but the balance part of it is that you need to delegate when you need to. Like, it's okay to be an indie filmmaker and it's okay to then want to do everything yourself. But when it comes to certain things, it's better to usually have a team, you know? That's what I will say. But the writing and directing part, I'm usually good on that end.
Definitely. Well, listen, I want to thank you for taking some time out and joining us and telling us about your story and some of the things that you're doing. And make sure you'll come out to see this man, Tyquan Neblett, at the Conchel International Film Festival this year, happening in Queens, Forest Hills, live and in person. So we will be out there. No more pandemic screen stuff. You know, we're doing this right now to give you just a little preview of who some of the people are. But we're going to be there in person. So come out, shake some hands, and learn some things and get involved. And hey, Tyquan may put you in one of his films. You never know. If
never
you got
know.
the talent.
You never know.
You know what I mean? So definitely do that. Come on out. But thank you again, bro. And looking forward to seeing you at the film festival.
Thank you so much. And thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. I am C.Truth. Once again, we're doing a special edition covering some filmmakers and artists at the Conchel International Film Festival happening this year out in Forest Hills, Queens. For more information, concheliff.com is where you go. It's right there below the screen. And see you with some more next time.